Hello, my name is Michael Zdilla. I'm a chemistry professor here at Temple, and I'm also one of the faculty advisors for chemistry majors. And I wanted to give you some tips on how to be successful as a chemistry major. The most important skill to have to do well in chemistry classes is to be able to do problems. You will have in all your classes practice problems assigned to you, and the biggest mistake that some chemistry majors make is not spending enough time with those practice problems, because it doesn't seem exciting, it's not endearing, it's homework. But those are the most important tools to be successful. When you practice chemistry problems, it's important to find a quiet place, whether it's the library or your own dorm room when no one else is around. But you need to find a quiet place to sit alone and work with the problems on your own. If you struggle with a problem, it's appropriate to go to your professor for help. Your professors will be very helpful to you and available to you with office hours. Study groups are also a wonderful thing to have, to get together with your friends and go over problems together. But a common mistake people make is to rely too heavily on professors and too heavily on study groups and not spend enough time alone. Because when you take that test, you're not going to have your study group and you're not going to have your TA or your professor. It's going to be just you. And so most of your time, 80% at least of your study time, should be just you, alone with your book and with your pencil and your calculator, practicing problems on your own. And when you figure out how to do a problem, you're not done with that problem, because you have to come back to it and do it again. Because if you struggle with a problem over 20 minutes and you eventually figured it out, that's not knowing it well enough to do well in the exam, because the exams are timed. So you got to come back to that problem later and do it again, and keep doing that problem until you feel like you've mastered it, and that if you see that problem on the exam, you're going to know exactly what to do. So that when the time comes to take that exam, the problems you see are almost certainly going to be very similar to what you had in your homework. So when you see those problems, you want to immediately identify them. Oh, that's one of those problems where we had to calculate this. And you'll remember what you did in your practice time, and you'll seamlessly go into that problem and answer it without wasting any time. And this gives you more time at the end of the exam to go back, check your work, check your numbers, and those sorts of things. The other thing that I would recommend, which is more fun, but will also help you be successful in chemistry, is to get involved in the chemistry community here at Temple. Get involved in the chemistry society. There's a society called the Temple Undergraduate Chemistry Society, or TUCS. They have activities, they have outreaches, they have fundraisers, they have parties, they have events such as lunch in the lab, where you have lunch and you get to learn about a chemistry professor's research. And so if you're socially involved with your chemistry peers, you're going to have a shared interest in success in chemistry, and you're going to have a peer group that's going to encourage you to practice those study habits and to do well. Another thing that you can do is try to get involved in a research lab. If you want to be a chemist, a lot of chemists do research, and professors at Temple are always looking for good students to help them in the lab, doing research and making new discoveries. And so that's a very exciting part of science, is discovering things that no one's ever seen before. And so getting involved in a research lab early on can instill in you a love and an excitement for chemistry that will help motivate you to do the hard work that's necessary to be successful as a chemistry major.